Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you're doing quite lovely on this big blue marble that we call home. I'll tell you, after watching some Star Wars this weekend, just going back and watching the films, you know, the original trilogy, the next trilogy, the next bajillogy, I'm still a firm believer that we gonna find some stuff out there. Some people that are like people. I use that in a very broad sense. Find some people that are like, oh, you came to visit us? Cool, man. Or we came to visit you? Cool. Anyway. So that's not what this episode is about. We already did the Star Wars one. You already know that. But, you know, after that, you know, it had me thinking, and then watching the Star Wars many movies this weekend, like I feel like I didn't move. I moved, but I felt like I didn't move. Anyway, today we have another incredible artist. She goes by the name of Megan, which you should be so lucky that these incredibly talented artists tell you their name. Some people in the past have used pseudonyms. They didn't want you to have their name. I get it. As an education professional, an educator, sometimes you don't want some people to know your name. I don't really care. My name is beyond common at this point in time that you could search my first, middle, and last name, and you could probably find 5,000 of me in the state of Texas. So anyway, and if you want to show up at my door, by all means, please come say hi. Just don't run away. I've got cameras. Just don't run away. You know, just come in, have a glass of wine, and we can hang out, right? You know, we can chat about Lego. We can build something. There's plenty on my backlog, but I digress. We've got to get back to Megan. Megan was so kind to join me to talk about Harry Potter. I know! Harry Potter! We don't do Harry Potter very often on here. And to be able to chat with somebody that built probably one of the best Harry Potter moxes, is mox? I guess mox is already plural. Is it singular and plural? I'm struggling with English right now. I'm not really sure. I really need to talk to an English teacher. Is it mock as one, mox, plural? I feel like there's something else. I've built a mock, my own creation. I built my own creations. I've built moxes, my own creation. I don't know. I know. I'm totally being silly. I'm pulling a comedic routine here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyway, so let's go ahead and hit the interview with Megan. Brick World Chicago again, 2023. This time it is Father's Day, and we are here with Megan, who was nominated for one of the coolest Harry Potter builds I think I have ever seen. Megan, thank you so much for taking some time to join me and talk about your builds that you have over there.
Oh, thanks very much, Matt. I appreciate it.
You have a Harry Potter. Is it just a broom? Is it? Is it called a broom?
It's called a broomstick. It's technically the Nimbus 2000.
Nimbus 2000.
Specifically, if you want to get technical. Yes, because that's the broom that Harry uses in the first two books. And that is kind of what all the kids in Diagon Alley are staring at when you first see a broomstick ever in the first movie. So it's very iconic.
So tell me a little bit about that, because it is a massive thing. It looks like a prop that somebody would walk around with at a convention.
Right. So I actually, in planning it, looked up the prop schematics for the life-size Nimbus 2000 that are replicas of, from the movie. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to use this and I'm going to make it just like this with the same angle of the broomstick and make it to life-size.
So how did you go about, because the angle is tricky, everything on the handle is nice and smooth and clean, but you have that little crook that's in there. How did you go about making that? Do you have a Technic frame on the inside of it?
Actually, it's a rebar.
Oh,
So
really?
it is. There are some non-Lego elements just to provide that extra structure because it is quite heavy and has to balance such that it's flying.
Okay.
So for it to be elevated, for it to hold all of that weight, it is rebar that I bent to certain angles that I calculated to get that look.
You went full bore with the math.
Well, exactly. And, I have a sculpture background, so I
Okay.
like using all of that mixed media. I love power tools. I'm all about whatever you can use to get it to look the way you want to.
Fantastic. Well, it worked. So talk to me a little about the broom end of this thing, because if I'm not mistaken, you have a thing over there that says how many brooms are in it?
That's correct.
Okay.
So that piece is all one piece that I built out of Technic and built with studs facing on all sides. So that was new for me. A lot of trial and error because I've never done that before. But then lots of little tiny reddish brown clips to attach all those minifigure brooms 360 all the way around, because I thought it's going to add such nice texture, the contrast of the sleek broom handle and then all these little brooms coming off. And I thought it's that extra meta level of like the broomstick being made of tiny minifigure brooms. That's what I love about what I've brought this year, is that the Quidditch Stadium is minifig scale, and then the Nimbus 2000 is life size. And you just kind of play back and forth between the scale, and it's really fun. It's been fun.
So since this isn't live, and it'll come out, you guys are hearing it the week after Brickworld Chicago, how many brooms are on the broomstick end? Can you give it away? Or do you want to save it? Do you want to give a ballpark? Maybe maybe somebody listening is going to end up, you're going to take it to, I don't know, Brick's Cascade or something. They're going to be like, I already know.
Well, the only hint I've been giving is because I feel like it's kind, is because a lot of people have been guessing 2000. Since it's the Nimbus 2000, I said it is not that many, but it's more than 100.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So it's the candy in the glass jar that you're trying
That's
to...
right. And I've seen so many kids sitting there counting and trying to calculate, and I love that. They're really engaged in that piece of it. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned the Quidditch Stadium, so we cannot go without mentioning that and talking about that. That is like you said, minifig scale. It is enormous. It is probably one of the coolest. I've seen a lot of Quidditch stadiums over the last couple of years, post COVID, when shows started coming back. Tell us a little bit about the Quidditch stadium that you have built over there.
So I follow a lot of great builders on Instagram where I get a lot of inspiration. And so Martin Harris, Brick Snaps, and there's several others who had built various sizes of Quidditch stadiums. And I just thought, that would be so fun, because in the past I had done a larger Hogwarts layout with a very, very small Quidditch stadium. And that was probably the smallest element of this whole build, but that's what the kids got excited about.
Oh, okay.
Was to see just the Lego released set size. And I thought that is really going to stand out to people because they love Quidditch. And so I thought I need to make a big one because that's going to be a crowd pleaser. Yeah. And it is. My kids love it. So
it is. So rough dimensions about. I'm sure to the T. Give us a dimension size. So I have some pictures of it and stuff, and I'll share your social media at the end, and I'm sure people will see all of it. What are some dimensions on that to get a rough idea of scale? Right.
So the stadium itself is 5 feet long and 30 inches wide. Each of the towers are at least 18 inches probably. I've got over 250 minifigures crammed in there, house elves, all the house Quidditch teams, all the characters that you will recognize from the series. They're all in there. Umbridge too, even though that causes some outrage.
Sure. So. Do you have any hidden sig figs or anything in there from other builders?
Well, I've got Jenny Bricks in there because she is my new friend. She won Best Mosaic here at the show, and she's a fantastic builder. I have my daughter's sig fig in there, of course, because she's here with me.
Your daughter is pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
She is rocking it. She's awesome.
And mine, too. I have mine hidden in there.
Of course.
Reading
naturally.
a Harry Potter book.
Yeah,
So.
yeah of course. Do you have any, I know a lot of people like to do the seek and find, search and find type stuff. Do you have anything in there?
I didn't do it. I have in the past since I've shown it before. My daughter actually hides Bill of Friends animals. in there because they don't quite fit,
Yeah.
in terms of style, so they stand out and it's really fun. But on the outside where the public can see, I have a lot of the extra creatures that you wouldn't necessarily see at the Quidditch Stadium, like
Sure.
the Cornish Pixies is a little tiny blue figure, and I just love those.
Yeah.
I love those, and I've got the Marauders, all 4 of the Marauders animals in a corner, and the troll from the that gets into the bathroom and causes the trio to have bond their friendship. So yeah, lots of little like nods and things all over.
A little bit of reference here.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
Do you? I saw something because you have some of the minifigs that look like they're flying. How did you go about creating that? Because like you said, the dimensions, you've got like 18-inch tall towers, and you can figure out what the dome on the inside of it looks like, size-wise. How did you go about getting some of the minifigs up in the air like that?
Oh, well, I mainly utilized, I actually don't know what it's called, but it's just a long, skinny, clear piece to sort of clip onto the different towers and, put them next to the towers to look like they're just sort of flying above and from below, and just to make it look really chaotic, because that's how I imagine Quidditch game to be.
Sure.
I think we even have a bludger next to one of the beaters who's about to hit it. So try to give it as much motion as possible with that, although something that was new for me with this build was incorporating the motion so the keepers will actually move and fly back in front of the hoops.
Okay.
And so there is actually a flying element to it, where the rest of it you do have to imagine it.
Dude, so let me ask this, because I don't know if this was just me with my tired eyes or whatever. It looked like something was moving. One of the characters was moving back and forth.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the keepers. So they're
Okay,
guarding
okay.
the hoops at the end. Each of them are kind of going back and forth like this, as if they're like,
So how did you go
guarding it.
about motorizing that? Do you just have a simple little deal in there?
That was something that I did find. I do find that sort of intimidating. I don't have a lot of experience with that. I asked a few other builders that I knew, and they said, buy this Power Functions book. And to be brutally honest, I took it to my mechanical engineer husband and I said, help, which one of these will work? And he's super supportive and very helpful. And he's like, I think you should try this one. And then I put it all together and figured it out. And that was really great.
Yeah, awesome. I just wanted to make sure, because I swear I saw it moving back and forth.
Oh, it moves.
And
It moves, yeah.
I was like, okay, am I just that tired? I didn't realize.
I'm imagining them flying. Yes.
Yeah.
No, they do. They do
Right,
move.
yeah, absolutely. So moving along with things in the future, obviously you said you've shown this a few places. Do you have any Harry Potter things that you're looking at, or Wizarding World as you have labeled over
Sure.
there? Do you have anything that you plan on building in the future at potential future shows?
That's a great question. I have bought a vintage steamer trunk to turn into the Quidditch trunk with the different balls in it that will continue the life-size theme.
Okay.
The beater bats, the different things that I will probably glue together so people can hold, which is fun.
Nice.
You know, you can sort of imagining yourself as part of that world in the game. So I'd love to do that. I've got something coming up this summer in my hometown that's a Harry Potter specific celebration, so I'll be bringing my Lego for that. So that'll be fun. Yes.
So with that in mind, like obviously you're talking about potential props. Like
Right.
people go nuts to be able to take pictures with anything that's Lego that they can actually hold or
Right.
wear on their head. I know there's a few things. Moto from Lego Masters has this cat helmet on, and I've seen
it's
very,
fantastic.
Yeah,
I love it.
I've seen very few people get a chance to put it on. He usually likes to hold it for kids, but
Right.
anyway. You have so many things incorporated in there with the mechanical stuff that's going on. And obviously your mechanical engineer husband is probably like, oh, I could do this. This is nothing. But then he's talking about something else. You're like, but this is plastic. Where does your inspiration come from to build certain things, especially like Wizarding World, Harry Potter? I mean, there's so many fans of the books and things, but
Right.
where does all that inspiration come from to be able to finally put finger to plastic?
That's a great question. So I try to think about it from my kids' perspective. So we are slowly reading through the books together, which is something I really treasure. We just started Goblet of Fire, and it's a little bit darker. It's a little bit more intense. However, I really try to capture the fun. And so I think about Quidditch as one of the most fun, like pure joy of the series,
Sure.
right? And so I try to think about what would someone love to see come to life in Lego form from this imaginary fantasy place. I think I would love to build a giant castle. I do love the whole aesthetic of a castle at night with lights. I think about that as being very symbolic of how people feel about Hogwarts and feel about the series, as like the castle is very strong and sturdy and formidable and makes you feel safe at night, right? So because there's warmth and the light coming through the windows and this sort of like darkness surrounding. So I think that's the sort of feeling I like about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody has a Lego journey. Some people start, most of the time it's like, well, I remember when I was 4 and I got this, or I remember when I was 12 and I got this. Where did the Lego obsession journey begin?
So I had the Lego Paradisus sets when I was a child, so the horse stable and the beach house, and I just built them over and over and over again. I did not mock build as a child, though. Really, I just loved to put them, and I played with them. It wasn't like I put it together and it just set. I played with them quite a bit. And then I transitioned to like art. I do a lot of art, different mediums, a lot of ceramics, sculpture. I paint and I draw now, and coming back to Lego was through my own kids, actually. So when they were very young, they started to get back into Duplo and Classic. And I think really as soon as my hands touched the bricks again, I was like, oh, yes. Okay. And then really what did it for me, solidified my coming back to the Lego community, was 2018 when Lego re-released the Harry Potter line. And the castle. I just loved that castle, that version of the castle, and all the different. I was like, I'm hooked. Great haul. It brought me such joy to just sit there and put it together. And I was like, well, this is me now. And is this okay to be an adult and to like these things? I asked that question for a long time, and so it's really great to be around a lot of other people who just love what they love and have accepted that, and we just use that to continue building the things that we love.
There's always more than one person at a show. Always. There's always more than one person at a show to be able to do whatever. The last guest that I had on, he's doing construction mining equipment. You've got Harry Potter. There's something for everybody at every single show. And it resonates with people in a different way. Like you had mentioned, the Harry Potter sets, re-releasing in 2018. There may be a kid that's come by that just, bought their first Harry Potter set, and then they're coming and seeing this life-size broom, this Quidditch broom, the Nimbus 2000. See, I remembered. I got it that time.
That's good.
So it's really cool. What kind of words of wisdom or advice would you give to somebody? Because obviously some of the things that you have over there can be intimidating. People kind of shy away sometimes. Like, I really want to start building my own things, but then they come to a show like this and they're like, I'm not in the same plane. So what kind of words of advice or wisdom would you give somebody that is looking to build their first mock?
That's a really great question. So when I first started building the 2018 Harry Potter sets, I would build them, and I learned from the professionally designed sets, and then I would stare at them for a few days or a little while, and I'd be like, what if I changed this about it? What if I changed that? What if I did this? So I absolutely started mock building by modifying sets and just starting there as like you have a basis to go on. You're modifying something that already exists, which is quite a bit easier than creating something from nothing. Yeah. So I'd absolutely recommend to start there and then see where it takes you.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. I love that. And I ask everybody just because, some people just can't get over that. And I don't want to display, or I want to build, but I don't know where to get in. So I like hearing that. So where can people find you? I know you're on Instagram, and you had mentioned you follow some crazy awesome builders that are out there, and everybody knows Martin for his crazy awesome techniques and stuff. Where can people find you to follow the things that you do?
Right. So I am mainly on Instagram at Pink Lady Art and Bricks. Pink is my favorite color.
And you have a pink jacket on right now.
I have fully embraced the pink. Yes, absolutely. Even though I build mostly reddish brown, which is sort of funny now.
You're going to have to revamp it. There's not a whole lot of pink in different pieces. So right. I get that. Yes. All right. Megan, thank you so much for taking some time and just sharing an opportunity to be able to bring your incredible things to the community and those of you that are out there that are listening to this right now, please make sure you go follow Megan and all the things that she does. And I cannot wait to see you again. And it doesn't matter, some show, whether it be Brick World Chicago or somewhere else in the future, and see what other things that you bring and just chat again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up here with Megan. Again, make sure you go follow her and see all the incredible things that she is doing. So now you know. Now you know what the buzz was all about. The why of why Brick World Chicago was blowing up around Harry Potter. It was her. It was her. It was her 2 builds. It was her immaculate build of the broom, which you will never know the exact amount. I do, but you never will, because I will never try and guess. It's just not my thing. However, how cool is it to have such a unique build get nominated, get blown up at a convention? And, you know, as a mock builder, one day you hope that when you attend somewhere like Brick World Chicago, which is the biggest convention in the United States, hands down, bar none, even if you're not building to get an award, because most people don't build to say, oh, hey, I got an award, dude, don't you see? But to be able to be nominated when there are over 1,600 people exhibiting, and those 1,600 people, most of them have more than one build. You know, I talked about Kate who is Brick Huntress. Kate had, I think 4 or 5 builds there. You know, another interviewee that you're going to hear in the next few days I think he had 4 or 5 builds. I think he had 4, and 3 of them got nominated, and then he won multiple. Incredible. And you have to think about that. 1,600 people with, let's say the average has 2 builds, like Megan did. 2 very large builds. But let's just say the average has 2. You can do the math. That is well over 3,200 builds. I would reckon to say that's probably close to 4,000 builds in the show. 4,000 builds. Anyway, I hope you guys definitely enjoyed this with Megan. I sure as can be did enjoy chatting with her. So until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.